Hey. Oh, hey guys, glad you're here. After the last video, I finally managed to trap the fortune teller in this drawer. But I think I finally have a way to stop him. I just have to give him what he wants. I have to give him part 3. So let's do this. In the last video, we learned the last crystal star is on the moon, somewhere that should be impossible to get to. The professor proves himself helpful one last time by telling you about a cannon in a village run by Bob-ombs that can shoot you to the moon. The village is aptly named Far Outpost, as it appears to be at the ends of the earth. But hey, it's only one pipe right away, so it doesn't take long to get there. Far Outpost is heavily based on Russia. This is supported by the fact that the residents all wear coonskin caps, speak with accents, they give you space food if you sleep in the inn. They hate tourists, and hide weapons of mass destruction. When you ask about the cannon, Mayor Putin lies to your face and tells you there is no cannon. Bobry, who's seen the cannon before, asks how an official can just lie like that. How can an elected official lie like that? Oh, Bobry, you have a lot to learn about politics. It's a real mess here. After being pressured by Bobry, Putin finally admits that there is a cannon, but before you can operate it, you need help from General White and permission from Goldbob. If you recall from last time, Goldbob was in Possibly Heights with his family, and he's still there. He then proceeds to take all your coins in exchange for permission to use the cannon and a guide on how to operate it. He then returns your coins because he's a good guy. It makes me feel bad that we wailed on him earlier when he was bombed. General White is a bit more tedious to track down. I didn't record it because I was running out of space on my computer, but it turns out the good general was trying to find you, and goes to everywhere you've been before finally returning home because he was tired. The reason he was tracking you down was because the fortune teller in Rogueport told him that Mario will fulfill his dreams of operating the cannon once more. And he's on board. With Goldbob's permission and General White's expertise, the cannon is raised out of the ground once more. But when reading more about Far Outpost, I learned in the official Nintendo Power Player's Guide for the Thousand-Year Door, the commentary stated, considering most of the Bob-ombs speak with Russian accents, those of you who grew up in the 60s may feel a bit nervous when you see the enormous weapon rise from the silo. Resist the urge to hide under a desk and tuck your head between your legs. And, wow. That was something I never thought about. When I was a kid, it was just funny. Haha, bombs have cannon. But I never thought about people growing up in the Cold War era that might have some form of PTSD, and this could trigger it. And if it was a joke, it was in pretty poor taste. Weirdly enough, this Cold War era tech is some of the most advanced in the game. The only area that surpasses it so far is Glitchville. Despite that, the only way to fire it is to cram it full of civilians and have them all blow at once, sending you to the moon. The moon is unfortunately very lame. Though it is nice to learn oxygen is actually a silly myth and you don't need it to survive. There are 6 areas of the moon, but they're not worth going to. Especially since you walk slowly. You just need to go one screen to the right where you'll see the Exxon Fortress that's covered in a glass dome that keeps all the mythical oxygen inside. At least Kabilla acknowledges that. A lot of the time when I'm recording, I'll go off script when I think of something that doesn't make sense. Why does the fortress have a door? It makes no sense, because if you open that door, you lose all of the oxygen that's in the base. Even if it's sealed, it still doesn't make sense, because you never see the Exxons leave through that door. And they don't bring, like, moon rock samples in or anything. There's nothing out there, so I don't know why they have a door. This is asking for trouble. I don't know. The base is the dungeon for this level, and it's cool to explore it without being Princess Peach and all her restrictions. Not much more cool, but still cool. But the big reveal is the teleporter, which shows how the Exxons travel to and from the base. They have a little shack in the sewers that houses some of the most advanced technology of all time. I don't know what Groters wants, but if he would just patent his teleporter, he could put Pipes out of business and defeat Mario that way. There isn't much more in the base worth talking about. There's a crane game, and this little thing that converts your party to 8-bit sprites. I do like that, it's cute. You get to do another game show, which is a nice callback, but ultimately a waste of time. It's just not as funny the second time through. And finally, you have to do this stupid jungle gym of machinery. I get what they're going for, but it serves no real purpose. They don't appear to be constructing anything else, and I know they didn't turn these on for Mario. They want him to reach the end so all the stars will be together. So, what's the deal? I just don't understand what's going on here. Crump waits for you as the boss of the area and tells you Peach is gone. He hops in the Magnus von Grapple 2.0, and Crump the Chump crumples like an apple crumble. Or a metaphor that makes more sense but isn't as phonetically pleasing. His suit explodes and sends him out into the cold darkness of space. But never mind the fact that he managed to kill the man, grab the Crystal Star and let's check on Bowser! King Koopa has arrived at Possibly Heights, where after attempting to steal the fake Crystal Star, a Paraguma arrives to deliver the news that Mario is heading to the Thousand-Year Door, and Bowser declares he'll be there. Back with Mario, the base has gone into lockdown, and you're led to Tech's computer room where it turns out Tech isn't deleted. At least not completely. He only has a little bit of memory left, and is running on backup power. He informs Mario that Groters took Peach to the Palace of Shadows, and uses the last of his power to send Mario back to Rogueport via the teleporter. But he has one last request. Tell Peach, thank you. Once you escape, Tech blows up the base, doing his part to end the X-Nauts plan. Frankly greets you and tells you the 1,000-year door opened, so collecting all the stars was a worthless endeavor. You head down to the 1,000-year door, and with all 7 crystal stars and the map in one place, the symbols on the door begin lighting up, pulsating, and the door opens for the first time in 1,000 years. Unless you count the time it opened earlier today for Grotus. I really don't get the point of this whole ceremony if the door can now be opened by anyone. But open it does, revealing a portal to hell itself. You might think I say that because of the swirling dark vortex, but it's actually my cute little way of referring to the final dungeon, the Palace of Shadows. This is it. The final challenge for Princess Peach, and the world, awaits to be safe from Grotus. But first, let's check over some other things while I try to drag the length of this video out. There are 2 simultaneous stories that are happening while Mario has his adventure. We'll look at Lumpy the Ratatouille first. Lumpy first appeared at the beginning of the game at Rogueport's dock, where he's looking for investors to fund an oil expedition in Dry Desert. Spoiler alert, he succeeds. But not without problems. He chronicles his whole journey into a 7-part journal and allows you to read it when he returns. Based on everything written, I think the whole thing is built in as fan service for people who like the previous game. I'm going to keep a counter of every reference from the previous game. We'll start at 1 with Dry Desert. Poor Lumpy. He had such noble intentions to help the people of his village with the money, but immediately after leaving Toad Town and climbing up Mount Rugged, he's been set upon by a vulture that took everything from him, including all the invested money. He nearly dies in the desert, but Professor Colorado saves him and brings him to Dry Outpost. After he nearly dies in the desert again, he wakes up in a desert oasis after being dragged there by Moustapha. Moustapha gives him directions including a blue cactus and cactus-like rock, leaving him at a point between Dry ruins. At that point, he's much more comfortable because he stocked up on lemons and limes in the oasis. Despite finding nothing and being on the brink of death yet again, he keeps digging because this is where Merlovely told him to dig. And also something about hope, I don't know, I don't care. Depending on how much Mario invested, he gives different amounts back. If you give nothing, you receive nothing. If you give 100, you get 300. 200, you get 600. And if you give 300, you get 999, which is the max coins you can hold. I don't know who or how anyone would ever manage to grind up to 300 coins before Lumpy leaves, but if they did, good for them. Weird note, in the Japanese version, if you give 200 coins, you only get 500 back. I'm not sure why. The other person having an adventure is Luigi. I'm not going to go way into this because I don't want to spoil it. I will however give the premise. Luigi receives a letter from the Waffle Kingdom asking for help. Luigi answers his call and learns Princess Eclair has been captured, and the only way to locate her is to assemble all the pieces of the Marvelous Compass, with each piece pointing to the next. Sounds familiar, no? Every chapter will show up in Rogueport with a new companion. He'll tell you his version of what happened, and then his companion will tell you about the parts Luigi omitted. After chapter 4, the Rogueport store will begin selling copies of Luigi's adventure, written to make Luigi sound much more heroic. The last copy will only be available after you beat the final boss. It's a really interesting story, and I highly recommend following it. Now back to Hell, better known as the Palace of Shadows, and also known as the final dungeon of the game. The decorations are kind of sparse, save for some wall sconces and spinning sticks of fire. I don't get it. Why have such an elaborate home if you're not even going to decorate it? At least put up some posters. Even the carpet is boring unless you like maroon. It just makes every room kind of look the same. And as a result, I'm just gonna skip talking about most of them. Eventually you get to the Palace Garden, and you have to destroy private property to advance. You also have to fight Gloomtail, Hooktail's older brother who becomes enraged when you mention you beat/killed her. You officially make dragons extinct and leave with a star key and enter a tower of multiple rooms. The fun thing about this tower is you need every partner's ability to solve the puzzles and earn keys, except for Goombellas and Miss Mouses. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say fun? I meant mind-numbingly boring. At least there's finally some decorations at the top of this tower. Activated in the Astrolabe, a new section of the palace opens, but before you can go, you have to go see the Shadow Sirens, minus Vivian, plus Frankly. And they revealed that the Professor Frankly at the door was actually Dupless. Fun fact, I actually forgot that while writing the script and thought that would have been a great plot twist. Now I see why I thought that. So really, everything was fine until you opened the door. Way to go. I guess I also didn't come up with sheet-wearing freak either. It's weird what sticks in the subconscious. You battle and easily knock them out and make your way to the throne room where Grotus is waiting. Talk about annoying bosses. He has his little minions that surround him and multiply, and as long as one is alive the turn before, he doesn't take damage. But he's incompetent, so he loses. He is smart though, and realizes he has Peach captive, and if Mario moves, he'll kill her. Another fun fact, the development team messed up. Attack and non-attack had their options flipped, so if you choose to non-attack, Grotus takes it as you attacking. He begins to kill Peach, but Bowser does the one thing that matters in the story and crashes through the ceiling, stopping him. He then demands you fight him. This battle is only difficult because you should be weak from battling Grotus, but a cakewalk if you brought items with you. But this is my problem with Bowser being in the story. He doesn't do anything other than land on Grotus, and that barely counts as there was a number of things they could have done to stop him. Take Bowser out, and the only difference in the story is Bowser is no longer there. Don't shoehorn him in for no reason is what I'm trying to get at. While you're distracted fighting Bowser, Grotus shoves aside the one piece of furniture in the room and takes Peach into the room below. The last room. The first thing you learn is the decor budget went to buying tons of candlesticks and a coffin. The second is that the ancient demon soul treasure is going to take control of Peach's body. The Shadow Queen comes out of her coffin, and darkness engulfs the land and quite possibly the whole world. Except Twilight Town, because, already dark. Princess Peach gets possessed and starts her goth phase. And yes, it is just a phase, despite what she tells her mom. Grotus demands she kills Mario and friends, and the Shadow Queen reveals she doesn't take orders from anyone, even the person who awoke her, and then she casually murders him. The Sirens and Duplets return, and Beldam reveals it was her plan to revive the Shadow Queen all along, as she is a loyal subject. The Shadow Queen finally notices you and offers to let you serve her, and in exchange, she'll spare your life. Pretty good deal, honestly. However, if you accept it, it's game over. But as the hero, you defy her, and the final fight starts. At first, it's a farce. No matter what, you can't beat her, but eventually she shows her true form so she can beat you easier. I guess she senses your power, because she asks you to serve her one more time, and upon refusal, the crystal stars light up and fly all over the land to everyone Mario has helped in his travels, and they all send their wishes to Mario to fight and win. Except for the people of Rogue Court, because screw them. But if you look at the messages, you can even see Luigi cheering Mario on, and that's sweet. Even Peach manages to momentarily break free and give Mario the last of her power. The battle restarts and Mario and the Queen are completely healed, and now the fight is for keeps. It actually is difficult. This fight is where my brother and I got to 3 different times, and gave up 3 different times. But I was motivated to finally clear this game from my backlog. She does a ton of damage and restores so much HP, I thought it was near impossible to beat her, until I watched one guy beat her in 3 turns with Goombella. So, I just suck. I actually lost the first time, and I'm so upset I lost that footage because I was using Art Attack, and if I hadn't screwed up, I would have won, because she only had 1 HP left, but, oh. Just take my word for it that I suck. In the end, you beat her and she dies. I think. It's unclear. But Peach's goth phase ends, the Sirens and Duplets split. Peach is alright and frankly shows up too, also unharmed. Not only that, but he also found the treasure. Maybe it really is the friends he made along the way. They leave the palace, gather on the dock, and Mario, Peach, and Toadstool get ready to depart Rogueport. This is also the first and only time you get to see all the companions together, but they all wanted to be here to say goodbye. Kind of unsure why Yoshi isn't going with them since he has no family or home, and therefore no reason to stay. But I guess Blissful is a rare place, so we might stay there. They all say something sappy, and I'll just show you it because this is the kind of stuff I love, and I want to be able to watch it on demand. But if you're not interested, they basically all say he made their life better. Except Miss Mouse. I love how aloof she is. Even Punio and Petunia come to wish him goodbye, and give him mushrooms for him to eat on his trip. The trio leaves to go home and Mario and Peach stay shining Rogueport. After 1,000 years, it's finally free from the threat of the Shadow Queen. But our story isn't over yet. Mario recounts his adventure to Luigi, and then he receives an email from Goombella telling him what everyone is up to. Goombella is researching more Rogueport lore, frankly. Koops is so confident now that he wants to become Mayor of Petalburg. Flurry is putting on a play of the adventure called Paper Mario, and they let Duplets join the acting troupe? What? This guy turned people into pigs, stole the identity of 2 people, plotted terrorism, tried to help resurrect an evil queen, and because he failed he gets a slap on the wrist? Okay. I hate when everyone gets a happy ending. Yoshi is now a solo fighter in the Glitch Pit and is nearing a title match, so you have to come back and put him in his place eventually. But his name is the Great Gonzalez Jr. He's so precious. Vivian and her sisters also got off scot-free because, now that the Shadow Queen has been defeated, Beldam is no longer into evil. Well, fair enough. At least she has an excuse. Maybe she'll spend her time doing charity work? Every day, Bobbery goes out to see if Cortez... And wait, Miss Mouse runs the bad shop? Oh my gosh, she was the bad shop owner the whole time! I should have known, the tail's a dead giveaway. But she still has her whole badge on the chick, so nothing's changed there. She's so cool. But still, I can't help but think of those who didn't get off so lucky. Like Grotus and Crump. Grotus literally died and he was just a pawn. And Crump, he's still in space. The characters in this game don't seem to have any needs to keep themselves alive, so they'll just float endlessly for all eternity. All alone. The only solace he could possibly hope for is if he drifts too close to the sun and is pulled into its gravitational force. But that alone could take decades. He got it worst of all. Oh wait, no, they're all still alive. Somehow. Grotus has just eyes and a brain, though, so I think I'd rather be dead. But we can't forget that the real hero of the story died. Tech. And if you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you. Tech is still alive, and wants to see the Mushroom Kingdom's favorite celebrity couple again. Goombella also hints that she fell in love with Mario, but decides to keep it a secret. I love her character and wish she would appear again as an actual NPC or companion, not just as a cameo thing. But as of the Origami King, my hopes remain dashed. The game finally ends with Toadro coming in with a treasure map and you leaving to go find it. You never actually do though, and if you continue, you end up back in Rogueport after the battle with the Shadow Queen. This is a huge step up from the first Paper Mario, where after you beat Bowser and the game ends, you can't continue. So you never really win. With the credits rolling, I want to take a moment to thank everyone who worked on this game. I appreciate every single one of your efforts. You delivered a great game. Thank you. You can go to Frankly and he'll tell you the treasure was a dried shroom and not friendship. I think it's supposed to be a joke, but they also play it as a major discovery, as now you know people ate mushrooms 1,000 years ago. Okay. With that, I thought I was done. I disconnected my recording equipment and put my laptop back. Then my brother walked by and asked me if I finished the title log. I said no because I never wanted to put over 100 trials past level 50, and he just said, "Wow, bad," and walked away. So I got back to work. I don't have recordings because I didn't want to get my stuff back out. But I do have pictures. I knew I was about to complete the recipe list and give every badge or he would keep mocking me. I started with the recipes because I realized I could use those in the pit. It was a mind-numbing 3 hours as I looked them all up online and started to make the most of my trips everywhere. I had to go back to Creepy Steeple and I wanted to cry. But eventually, I made all the recipes, and most of the badges I needed were also rewards in the pit, so down I went. My first thoughts were, wow, what an easy 90 floors. And then I got to the 91st floor, and I realized I was woefully unprepared. The elite wizards were killing me, but I scraped by, and eventually made it to the final boss who was optional, Bonetail, the elder sibling of the other two tailed dragons. Bonetail's gender is disputed over regions, so normally I go to the source for confirmation. But I can't find it, so I'll be referring to Bonetail as male. He seems to have lost his mind after being stuck in the bottom of the pit for so long. And apparently being dead doesn't help, since he doesn't speak and only roars. I imagine the Shadow Queen stuck him down here to kill anyone who somehow got past everything else. So I just realized I didn't actually write the story of the pit in my script, so quick recap. The pit was made by the Shadow Queen to throw any naysayers who disagreed with her down there. They were supposed to be killed by the monsters and, they get tougher as the floors go down to give people like a false sense of, maybe I'll get out of here. And then they get to the bottom, Bonetail's supposed to, kill them. But that didn't happen to Mario. Bonetail almost got me, but I was determined not to have to go back down the stupid pit. So with all my determination and a little bit of luck, I managed to beat him. And I was finally done as he spit out the last badge. I collected every badge, I did every Zest tea recipe, and I finished the tattle. No. No. I missed the stupid bomb in the pit. They all blew up before I could tattle on them. I'm so sad. Back down I go. It wouldn't be so bad, but I have to go back down to the 92nd floor. But I eventually did it. I completed the tattle log, but there was still one thing left. It's no, not finding every star piece. There's literally no point to that since I already have every badge. It's not finding every shine sprite, I already did. The last thing I have to do is buy all of Grifty's stories. You may have noticed over the course of these videos that I use specific pronouns to refer to the black chest. That wasn't me assuming gender, that was me referencing the backstory. You ever wonder how the Shadow Queen was sealed away? Well, Grifty will tell you by selling you 16 stories at 5 coins a pop. To summarize, the Shadow Queen is a demon from the great beyond. She used her powers to create the crystal stars to exert her influence. She built castles all over the country and hid a crystal star in each. Only Hooktail's castle remained standing. Eventually 4 heroes decided to fight back. A brave male Toad, a smart female Goomba, a strong male Koopa, and a magical female Boo. Together, they managed to steal the demon and the crystal stars, but the demon cursed them back. When they let go of their last crystal star, they'd be cursed and taken over by Chest. The only thing I don't get is why they became malicious liars who cursed when they were released. But before that, the wise Goomba carved up the great tree for the Peonies to live in, who swore to protect the Emerald Crystal Star in return. She was then taken over in the sewers on her way back to Rogueport. The Toad hero collapsed and asked the healer who was taking care of him to hide the star in a place known to no one. It's unclear which star this was, but due to its just being located in Hooktail's castle, it can be presumed to be the Diamond Crystal Star. The Boo hid the Ruby Crystal Star in the creepy steeple, and was then taken over on her way back to Rogueport and Twilight Town. I tell you, nothing good happens when you go to Creepy Steeple! The last crystal star to be hidden was the Sapphire Crystal Star in Keelhaul Key, but the Koopa was tired, and when Cortez stole it, he was immediately taken over. The Koopa, not Cortez. I'm unsure how Grubba attained the Gold Crystal Star, as I'm sure Glitchville wasn't around 1,000 years ago. I'm also unsure where the Crystal Star in Rogueport was hidden. I'm thinking maybe that one was just left at the door. People might think that was the treasure and just leave. At least the Garnet Star was hidden well in the Posse Sanctum. But before the heroes left to hide the stars, they wrote a map together that could lead them to the stars, and put it in a chest made so that only the Pier of Heart could open it. It's unclear how Bedlam found this chest, but I'm guessing she was stalking the heroes the whole way and snatched it when they all went down. And that's all the backstory. And with that, I am officially done with Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. After 16 years. It only took me 16 years, but I'm done. And the fortune teller stopped fighting back, so I guess we're finished here. I want more fortune, what the heck? Alright, purple, P-U-R-P-L-E, fish, F-I-S-H, and the 16 tab. You'll make a compilation of these videos. I'm never really done, am I?